I'm sick of this, as we have multiple New York Rangers updates to go over today ahead of their next game, including a surprising injury update, and an analyst weighed in on the Rangers in their season and completely tore the team to shreds. We're going to break all of that down and more in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder just to hit that subscribe button. About 68% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with your New York Rangers, it's free. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now, we have some interesting updates to go over today, and including, some comments from an analyst absolutely tearing the team apart. Can't wait to get to that. That'll be later in the episode, and more on Peter Laviolette as well, because I'm starting to wonder if this coach is going to make it to next season as the head coach of the Rangers. We'll get into that as well. First order of business, just want to say congratulations to Alex Ovechkin on setting the NHL's all-time goal-scoring record. That's all the time we'll spend on that, because we know, Rangers, Caps have had some good rivalries and moments in the playoffs. But congratulations to Alex Ovechkin. It's a record that personally I never thought was ever going to be broken. So to see it broken yesterday was pretty special. But let's dive right into it. Matt Rempe is in tonight versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. And that is from Peter Laviolette at an optional morning skate this morning, which we'll get into as well. And some other injury updates as well. K'Andre Miller is a game time decision and might not go tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, at this point, the Montreal Canadiens, as it stands at the time of making this video, ahead of the game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Montreal Canadiens are 6 points up on anyone at this point for the last wildcard spot. It is looking very rough, like incredibly rough. There was a point where even last week I was like, maybe it's not looking good, but maybe it's not looking good at all right now. Now you have Matt Rempe coming back into the lineup. Maybe he can do something tonight to kind of get everyone's energy going. The Lightning have been playing some really, really good hockey, so it's not looking good for the Rangers in that regard. But I have to say, nice to see Matt Rempe back in the lineup tonight. He was dealing with an injury. He was out for a couple games, and he is returning. And K'Andre Miller, I'm wondering if it's an illness. They didn't really elaborate on it, but he has a game time decision, might not play. And he's another guy we've talked about in the last couple of videos. I'm not even sure you can bring back next season, but that's something we'll get into in future videos. And Igor Shesterkin is going to start again tonight. And Igor is someone we're going to touch on later in the video as well in terms of that analyst who is speaking out. And we'll get to that later. But an optional morning skate for the Rangers this morning. This is from Johnny Lazarus. And on the ice is the following players. We have Vincent Trocheck. We have Matt Rempe, who will be playing tonight. Gabe Perreault is taking the optional skate as well. And I mean, he's new to the NHL. He's probably going to soak up as much as he possibly can. Brennan Othman's on the ice. And I have to say, Brennan Othman has been playing great as of late. I've said it in every video the last little while. I love his game. He's been playing fantastic. Brett Berard's on the ice. Nicholas Aube-Kubel, who's still with the team, is on the ice as well. And Juuso Parssinen. And of course, Zach Jones, Calvin DeHaan, and Jonathan Quick. Now, optional skate. I get it. The schedule's been a little bit busy. You have some tough games coming up this week. Again, your top guys, besides Trocheck, not leading by example here. They're not at the open or the optional skate, I should say. So I am a little bit upset about that, I would say, because I think that, sometimes maybe a guy like Panarin, and I get it. Some of these guys are beat up. It's a long season. We're headed towards the end here. And obviously, all of that and the tough schedule ahead. But maybe one of these guys can just lead by example and say, like, hey, I'm going to come to the morning skate, right, and skate with these guys, and especially these younger guys like Gabe Perreault. Like, Gabe Perreault's out there with, like, Matt Rempe and Brennan Othman. Like, these are all young guys, right? Like, you would hope that some of the veterans would be out there, but I get it to a degree, but at the same time, we're nearing the end here. You're trying to make the playoffs. Get on the ice for morning skate. Do you care? I'm not sure Rangers fans see that you care anymore. And after a 2-1 Canadiens win last night, there are 6 points up on the New York Rangers for the second wildcard spot. The Rangers are now 6 points back. And as we touched on the schedule moving forward, it's not too kind. And it's looking a little rough, honestly. And as you can see here from Vince Mercogliano, the math is really stacking up against the New York Rangers. The Rangers can max out at 91 points. That means if Montreal gets to 92, which would require 7 of a possible 10 points in their final 5 games, the New York Rangers will be eliminated. Now, keep in mind, This is just based on pacing, of course, and Montreal would have to get 7 of 10 points. Montreal has been playing very well. They also play Toronto this coming Saturday. Toronto's been playing very well, so we'll see. That could help. But again, that's just 2 points off the board. You need more than 3 points off the board from the Montreal Canadiens. So realistically, the Rangers need to win at least 5, probably all 6 of their games to have a chance. So the Rangers, again, Montreal could give up 3 points here down the stretch, still make the playoffs over the Rangers. The Rangers need to win every single game, and it still might not even be good enough. So they put themselves in this position. A lot of people have checked out. I've seen you guys in the comments. It's still mathematically possible. It's not looking good. And the fact that they let this slip through their hands with where they were earlier in March is pretty disgraceful. Like, it just goes to show what this season was all about, and it was an absolute disaster. And Chris Drury, if he's still around after, this, next stretch, this couple, a few weeks from now, in a month from now, if he's still around, which I do think he will be, don't get your hopes up too much. I know there's a portion of the fan base that wants him gone, but he's going to have to figure something out going into next season, because something has to change. Like, the philosophy of the team has to change, and I think that with them getting younger too, Peter Laviolette, not sure he's the coach to do it, but this is from PK Subban, like I was talking about earlier in the episode, now with TNT, and he said, I don't want to hear about Shesterkin, I don't want to hear about JT Miller, and I don't want to hear about Panarin. They compete every night, and you can throw Cooley into that too. And I was almost mad when I was reading this that Will Cooley's name wasn't in there, and then of course saw it at the end there, because Cooley's been competing. I think Gabe Perreault's been good since he got called up to the NHL. I think Brennan Othman's been really good in that regard. Shesterkin has been great all season. The Shesterkin hate earlier in the season was absolutely ridiculous. I said at the start of the year, sometimes you do need a save, and sometimes he had a couple bad games, but he's not the reason that this team is the way that they are, and I think that he's actually earned that contract. He should be the highest paid goalie in the NHL for even putting up with all this stuff all year, but JT Miller gives it his all. Again, Panarin's been playing great. It's a bad season, and some of these guys are not even working hard. And I thought this was interesting from Dom as well. The Rangers need a coach who can establish a system and a culture that everyone buys into consistently, not just 1 year in and another out. They need a culture that can handle drama and not wilt at the first sign of it. And then he goes on to say that they need to surround that coach with players who fit what they want to do, or find a coach who can adjust to what they have. All of those things can be right at the same time. And I do agree with this, but I think that it's going to be a different coach. And, who is that going to be? I don't know. A lot of coaches could get fired in the offseason, right? Let's see what happens. But I think at this point in time, it's a different coach that will lead the way out of this, because Laviolette, I think, has lost the room. That much is clear. We can all see it on the bench, right? He's lost the room. He can't work with young players. They're trying to get younger. You should be trying to get younger. The development staff, the coaching staff, they don't like to work with young players. I mean, some of the guys, like even when Brendan Othman was called up, was playing less than 7 minutes a night. You cannot win that way. It doesn't work, right? You cannot rely on your top guys who are not even trying to win you the games, right? So, again, I think it's going to be a different coach leading them out of this, because this guy, Peter Laviolette, does not work with young players. It doesn't work, and they're a team that wants to get younger at this point. Not even wants to get younger. They have to get younger, right? It's this era closed when they traded Jacob Trouba, and the way that they started the season. It finished, right? So they have to figure out a way out of this right now. And this is from Vince Mercogliano post-game on Saturday, and he said, I was asking Zibanejad a question and mentioned the recent power play struggles, which is another problem with the team right now. The special teams are absolutely horrendous. He disagreed with the recent part. It's the whole season. We're close to dead last. That's not good enough. And I do agree with Zibanejad there, and Adam Fox chimed in on power play as well. It's the difference right now, right? The margin is so thin. I think 5-on-5 we've been pretty good. Make your own assumption on that. And you let up shorthanded goals. They've actually, the last little while, let in more goals while on the power play than they've scored on the power play. So keep that in mind as well. It's been horrendous. And you let up power play goals against, you lose games by 1 or 2, tie 5-on-5, or even win the game 5-on-5. It's costing us. It's been for a little bit now. Now, the one thing I wanted to point out in this quote is he said tie on 5-on-5 or even win the game 5-on-5, right? The Rangers have been horrible this season, 6-on-5, right? If it is a 1-goal game, they're trying to tie the game. They haven't been able to do that or even force overtime to get an extra point this year. They've been horrible at that this year. So they're dropping points left and right. They're giving up leads. in that regard. And then it's just been an absolute mess all season, and it's coming to an end here in the next couple games. So we will keep an eye on how the season ends here. But he's right to a degree as well. Like, you lose games by 1 or 2 goals. If you're getting 1 or 2 goals on the power play in a game, that game is tied. Maybe you win that game, right? You're leaving points on the table. The power play has quite literally all season lost this team games, and they're not good 5-on-5. They're not good enough 5-on-5. Even dating back to last season, to have that kind of lead the way and for them to win games based on that. Last year, the power play was unbelievable. This year, it's completely dried up, and they're going to miss the playoffs. So, got to figure it out. I think it is a new coaching staff at this point. I defended Laviolette until maybe February, but now you can see kind of where the team is going, what they need, and that the message has been lost, and he's not the guy that's going to take this team the way that they're built right now out of this. It's going to be somebody else. And dating back, we can, hindsight's 2020, but it does really hurt that they gave up Chris Knobloch to the Edmonton Oilers. Not directly, but they could have had him as their head coach. But let me know what you think in the comments about, everything going on lately with the Rangers. It's been disappointing. We have some good news with Matt Rempe returning to the lineup. Keandre Miller is a game-time decision tonight. Shesterkin is starting. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about PK Subban's comments, because I do have to agree with him on almost the entire thing he said. There's only a handful of guys who are actually giving the effort right now. But let me know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.